Hey guys, Funky Like Feathers. So today I wanted to kind of answer a quick question so that you kind of understand where things are going here. Before we get started, make sure that you tell me down in the comments one of your favorite kids' books because I want to make sure that it's either on my reading list or something that I've already read. Tell me what you loved about it so much. I want to hear from you guys down there. One of the main questions that I get asked, especially since you're going to be seeing some book reviews come out on this channel, I know that it's going to pop up in your heads and go, what on earth is this? One of the things that I have made sure to do over the past year is kind of change up my reading genres, specifically when it comes to reading kids' books. Why am I reading kids' books? And I'm not just saying children's stories. Like I read Dragon Masters. I literally am on the last book of the series so far, number 17, about the stone dragon. That's right, you're welcome. I've read 17 of these. So part of the reason that I read children's stories, as well as middle grade books like Magic Misfits, even YA stuff like Neil Shusterman's The Unwind series. His Side series was absolutely amazing. But I go ahead and read these for multiple reasons. Once you start only reading kind of one age bracket or one genre of stories, you kind of miss out on a lot of other things out there. Now, one of the biggest things as well when reading kids' books is that it also allows me to look at stories differently, especially since, I'm moving forward with doing editing and everything like that. It's also really important that I kind of stay alert of how different kinds of stories are written for different age brackets. So something as simple as, like I said, the Dragon Masters series here, there are 17 books currently in the series. Number 18 is coming out in the next few months, but it's really important to see how the character arcs work in such a short amount of time. You guys, these things are only about 100 pages long. And when it comes to how much verbiage is on each page, let's just say not a whole lot. There's a good amount of pictures in here, lots of illustrations. The illustrations are rather important to the story, especially when it comes to the age bracket. These are marketed for, let's see, 1st through 3rd grade students. So this is a very young age bracket. However, it's really important to see how the writing style is different as opposed to an adult story, how the imagery is used differently, and again, those character arcs. Now, when it comes to, kind of middle grade books where we get like Magic Misfits, this I think is pretty cool. It's written by Neil Patrick Harris. Kids these days really don't understand who Doogie Howser was. That is one thing I've definitely learned. However, Neil Patrick Harris is a really great writer. He has a really fun way of talking to the reader every now and then, which is very interesting. So again, you get that different kind of writing style. You get very little intricacies in the younger age bracket. When we get to the middle grade stories, that's where you're going to get a little bit more description. However, things are still kind of kept rather light, especially in tone overall. It's usually a lighter tone when you get to the middle grade. You do have a little bit more sinister of characters in those middle grade books, but they're not going to go over the edge. However, when you get to stories like the Unwind series by Neil Shusterman, this is where your world is really going to get shaken up a bit. We see how the stories completely change. You're going to see how descriptions change. You're going to see how the writing style is very different. Now, even as far as reading adult books, the tone can still be kept very light, but it's also very interesting to see the differences between the types of authors, between the different age brackets. As far as stories like Dragon Masters, I've also read the entire Haunted Library series. I've read the entire Notebook of Doom series. I have not read Binder of Doom yet. I think there's only 4 books in that series. I've also read all of the Eerie Elementary series. So there are several different series that I've read, and I'm going to be doing reviews on all of these different series going on. There's so much in there that a lot of times kids don't necessarily get, and authors put a lot into those books. And I think that's another thing, is that I don't feel like a lot of people respect kids' books. So it's really interesting to actually delve into them and read them as an adult, because I can look at them differently than how a lot of kids look at them. Your perspective has changed a lot. Even looking at middle grade books, your perspective on things is going to be drastically different than it would have been if you had read that at a middle grade age. Now, as an adult looking back at it going, well, this is actually a pretty fun book. As a parent, it also is extremely important that I read these kinds of books books, because that way I also know what all's out there, how the market is doing, what kind of books I think my kids should be reading, why or why not. I get a lot of questions from people about what their kids should read or about, cool books that are out there. So by reading them, I can actually say, hey, this is a great book. Here's why. Comes in handy a lot. It again, though, gives so much more because you get to enjoy the stories now as an adult, as opposed to only kind of getting through books that are written for specifically adults. Now, there are some books in the middle and high school range that it's really interesting to see just how far some of these authors will go to kind of find out like what you would be comfortable with. Again, it's really kind of funny reading things as an adult going, oh my God, they put that in a middle grade book or in a high school grade book? That's insane. So it's really kind of interesting, again, to then look at what was the author's motivation? Why was this done in the story? So again, kind of extrapolating more information out of the book because I'm an adult as opposed to just skimming through it as a kid. It's been very, very interesting. I've also attempted annotating my books. So as I go through, I'm actually tabbing stuff, I'm kind of highlighting stuff. I'm being more involved in the book than I would be if I were just reading it as a kid. Now, if you want to see how I annotate books and talk about more about why I annotate books, I can make you a video on that. Let me know down in the comments if you want a video on that specifically so I can get that made for you guys. So there's going to be some book reviews coming out that are specifically about kid books and kids series. I'll be doing adult books as well. Obviously, I've got my monthly book club that you can become a part of through Patreon. So if you want to be a part of the adult book club, go to my Patreon and you can sign up there for only $5 a month, and we'll have monthly live Zoom meetings. I would love to see you guys on there. I hope you guys are having a great week. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.